Well, hello there. How you doing? Welcome to the Laser live stream. My name's Gil, and if you've been here before, welcome back. If you're not, we're going to spend the next hour, probably an hour and a little bit. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We play it by ear. But welcome to the latest Laser live stream. Hope you are all safe and warm. I got to be honest with you. I'm coming in from Melbourne, Australia, and winter just suddenly creeped up on us. It is so cold that I even had to bring a heater in because I was just chilled to the bone here. So I hope everyone's rugged up. If you're in the US, I know you're going into the summer, and that's pretty awesome. So you know what? Keep warm. I know I put a long sleeve shirt on today. I was like, I'm freezing. I'm freezing. It's a shame that lasers don't put out too much heat, and definitely not the heat you want. So either way, it's all good. But welcome to the Laser live stream. We've got a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about, so it's going to be amazing. We're going to go through a whole bunch of stuff. First of all, I always love to see who's here in the chat room. It is awesome. And I noticed that the very first message that I got from this Laser live stream, this one at least, is from my good friend Cheeks, who's in the Philippines. He's going to be warm. And Cheeks was, I don't know if he's still around here, but he was saying, hello, Philippines rocks. I'm glad. It's good to see you. In fact, I believe Cheeks and I ended up doing some work on Lightburn together. He came in and did a bit of a one-on-one with me. And it's always amazing to see the incredible things that he creates with his laser. So I hope he's still around. Maybe he'll drop in and say hello. I'm kind of looking at the screen, seeing whether or not he's going to turn up again. But either way, it was great to see him. And also my good friend and original laserologist, Adrian, came in and he says, where are you? It's 6 p.m., not 5 p.m. An hour earlier. So eager. And it's so, I know the feeling. 5 p.m., you know what I'm doing? I'm behind here trying to make sure that everything goes right for the 6 o'clock launch. Every single time. There are people on YouTube, there are live streamers. They have teams, man. They've got people who do all of this. They do all the cards, they do all the graphics, they make sure everything's going well. Maybe one day I'll turn the camera around and you can see everything the way it's set up. I'm telling you, it's a little bit of a rush, but you know what? It pays off every single time because I get to be able to connect with all of you. So that's amazing. Thank you so much as well, Adrian. I know you're still here, so that's kind of cool. And then, of course, Peter coming all the way from... Jeez, I'm going to get it wrong. I don't know why I keep saying it. It's the Netherlands. I keep getting it wrong. But Peter's come in as well. So it's great to see you, Peter. It's great to... I know it's very early where you are right now in Europe. So thank you so much for coming in. We've also got Audrey coming and joining us. Hello, Audrey. It's great to see you. Adrian also saying to Audrey, hey, Audrey, how you doing? And we've got a very new first time. I'm pretty sure this is a first time person. So this is a brand new laserologist. And he says here right now, this is my first live stream. It's coming all the way from South Africa. It's Zululand. Is that right? I hope I've pronounced that right. In South Africa, he's waiting for his Sculptifun S10 dual diode laser. So I'm glad you've joined us. Welcome on board. You are basically the latest laserologist. You're a laserologist not because you bought a laser, because you've joined us and you've joined our community. We're going to talk about what that means and how you can be part of this community and not only just take, but also give a little bit back just by sharing your journey. So thank you so much. I'm also told that his name is Paul, not Zululand Aquaponics. Paul, good to have you, mate. Great to meet you. It's always nice to have a new member, and we'll see if there's a few more new faces come in. It's great to see you. Peter's also welcoming Peter. Oh, Paul. Gosh, see? Peter, Paul, Mary. It's all happening. And anyway, welcome, Paul. Hi, Paul, from Audrey as well. John's come back. John's here, and he's like, I'm here as well. And it's good to see you returning. It's great to see returning people, so it's great. And John's like, I'm looking forward to this. And I got to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to this too, man. It's always fun to come and talk about what you're passionate about. Not just, the teachings is fun. We're going to get back to those YouTube's videos and the tutorials. But man, I love this. This is the foundation of this channel. So it is totally awesome. Then Commander Koenig sneaking in after work and school. Thank you so much, Scott. It's great to see you. I hope you're warm and safe up in Japan. We've also got Scott Stewart. What's going on today? I didn't eat very well today. I'll tell you guys a little secret. I had my last day at an amazing job that I was working at, and all the people were so cool that instead of lunch, can you hear that dog? I don't know if you can hear a dog. There's a dog kind of squealing at the outside my window right now. It's kind of putting me off. But at lunchtime, instead of eating like a normal meal, they all brought like they baked goods and cakes and stuff. Like I indulged. Anyone who's gonna bake for me, I'm gonna try that stuff out. So so I'm on a bit of a sugar high. So that's probably what's going on with me. So I apologize about that. But Stuart, good to see you, my friend. Another Aussie here, and Mike also coming in all the way from Ipswich, and he's just getting a heater for little Ellie. Ellie is the second generation laserologist, I hope. Don't know if she's had a chance to work with the laser yet, but I do know she knows all about it. So it's great to see you. And Adrian, who was here a little earlier, but he's still there from Cooktown in Queensland in Australia. It's good to see you. Peter saying, "Hey, Gil, glad to see you, see everyone again." It's fun, man. It's fun when we all get together that way. And Becca, Jay, Becca, I'm terrible with names, but Becca, is this your first time here? Are you a first-time laserologist? Let me know in the chat room. Either way, great to see you. It looks like it's going to be 105 degrees on Friday where you are. Can you send some of that down here? I'm telling you, we're freezing. Melbourne in Australia happens to be within the influence of the Antarctic. So we get a lot of Antarctic winds in the winter, but then we also get amazing heat in the summer. So, when it's summer and they turn it on, it's amazing. But when it's cold, oh my gosh, it is so cold. So I'm, send it down. I don't like the cold. I like the heat. Still summer here in the tropics, says Adrian. He's bragging already. Come on, man. John saying it's freezing in Sydney. And I know that cold spell is going all the way up. Not to where Adrian is, but definitely. Stuart's from Morwell. Great to see you too. Peter sharing, put your fingers in it. Heat enough. With the laser, that doesn't generate heat. That just burns. It cauterizes. It's something else altogether. Paul also letting us know that he's a first timer. So again, it's really cool to see you. And my good friend Cheeks, all the way from the Philippines, still here, still checking us out. I hope you're doing well with your laser and everything's going smoothly. Let me know. Mike sharing that he's heating the room from 5 p.m. onwards. I'm telling you, that sun sets right now. Woo, is it chilly? SJA coming all the way from Toowoomba. Good to see you again. These returning people. I love it. That's the community. It's so good. And Peter's like, you got it right. I told you, Peter, I was going to get it right. It's 10 a.m. Perfect time for you. Excellent. I'm really glad to see that. Audrey's Kmart? I don't even know. Is there a K? Is this the blue light special? We'll see what's going on there. Paul telling me that that it was the correct pronunciation of Zululand. So I'm glad. I get a little nervous sometimes, I don't think I'm dyslexic, but when you see these tiny little letters kind of right there and you quickly say it and you go, oh my God, did I say it right? So the show must go on. And Brenda also saying good morning from the US, 4 a.m. first time here. Brenda, thank you so much. What you don't realize is you are a laserologist right now. You've joined us live. And especially if it's 4 a.m., you're either an insomniac or just really keen to be a part of this. Thank you so much for for coming along. It's great to have you. Please feel free to speak up, and if you've got any comments on the stream, that's why I love people being here live. So it's great to see you. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the family. It's awesome. Becca J saying, not my first time, but love to be back. That's awesome. It's amazing that you're here, and it's so cool. Just always see more and more people coming up and still and sharing their passion and their love of lasers. It's cool. Mike's telling us 4 a.m. is a good effort, Brenda. It is an amazing effort as far as I'm concerned. And Ellie's getting the heater from the room in the Uggs. Well, she's got to keep warm. And that brings us up to speed. I always love to catch up with everyone and see what they are doing before we go into the spiel, into the live stream. It also gives some people some time to come in and just hang out. And it's always fun to do that. But you know what? Let's jump into it. We're here to talk lasers, and we are going to do that in a quick second as I catch all my thoughts. That sugar rush is still going to my head. We are here, obviously, to foster interest in lasers and also foster interest in projects, in the best way of being able to do that. And this live stream, when I started off during the COVID lockdowns, it was fun, but it really is here thanks to two very generous companies that have supported this live stream. And those two companies are Darkly Labs. That is the home of the Blazer laser cutter. This is the laser that I use. They're also an Australian company. If you're looking for a diode laser, definitely check them out. They can be found at www.darklylabs.com. It's a pretty amazing machine. I have it literally, I'm going to knock, hear that? That is my laser. I have not moved in my chair. It literally sits next to my desk and I use it a lot, not just for my tutorials, but also for my projects. It is an amazing piece of equipment. We also are supported by Lightburn software. The Lightburn, in my opinion, is one of the most intuitive and easy pieces of software to use for a laser. They just had a huge announcement 2 days ago that they are now working with fiber lasers, and it is amazing to be able to see that. I want to thank both these companies. If you haven't checked out Lightburn, you can get a 30-day free trial at www.lightburnsoftware.com. They are amazingly generous to be able to support what we're doing here, and it is really, really cool to be able to say that. So, you know what? Thank you so much. If you haven't checked them out, see, Stuart's also Darkly Labs has very fast delivery times. We have the CEO of Darkly Labs comes onto the stream all the time to talk not just about the Emblazer, but in laser cutting and laser processes in general. And he'll be joining us hopefully next week. It's been a little bit busy for Dominic, but yeah, they are a pretty decent company and I love working with them. And you know what? That's the only company I know in Australia that's developing kind of maker or STEM equipment here. Everything else is in China, America, Europe, whatever. But these guys are doing a great job, and I really like their product. I really, before I even did any of these videos, I was using it. And I was very impressed with it. Moving on, let's talk about what the community is all about. The live streams, as I was saying, are the foundation of the community, and I like to set our intentions every time we come and do a live stream. So we'll go through it really quickly. And the very first intention that we have from the live streams is to build a creative and interactive laser community. I don't care if you're using a diode laser, a CO2 laser, a fiber laser, a laser pointer, a CO2 laser, a vision laser. I don't care. If you're using a laser, come on down and have a conversation with us. It is pretty amazing. The second intention is to support laser users. If you use a laser, if you're getting creative with it, we want to support you. We want to hear about your journey. We want to know what you're doing, because that leads into the third intention, and that's to share knowledge. Not everyone knows everything. You may be working on a project that's in a different area than someone else. By sharing our knowledge, we all get stronger. We all end up exploring and trying different projects, and that is a huge goal of our community. And our fourth intention, if I can bring it up, is just to learn from everybody. Everybody you meet is your teacher. And it is just amazing to see some of the projects that we're going to look at later in this live stream, to see the amazing things that people create and how they did that. And I like this. I go through this every week, but Carl Jung, it says, everyone you meet knows something you don't, but you need to know. Learn from everybody. And that's what I love about what we do here. So those are the intentions. It's a great way of being able to thrive within the laser community, whether it's a hobby, whether it's work, whether it's something that's just interesting to you. Come along, share what you know, learn from other people, and you know what? Together, we'll push what we can do with our equipment a lot further than if we were just sitting in a room by ourselves. It's awesome. Now, you might be asking yourself, Gil, that's really cool, but how do I get involved? What community? What's going on? So, how can you get involved? First of all, do me a favor. If you're not subscribed to this channel, can you go and to the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a little photo of me and a subscribe bar. If you hit that button, you will support not only this project, but the channel. When it comes to YouTube, there are a lot of people doing a lot of content here. So one of the ways we can actually cut through that when people are looking for subjects like lasers is how many people have subscribed. And of course, feel free to chat in the room. While we're live, I love it when people converse during the streams. That's the difference between the videos and the tutorials that I make. Yeah, comments are great, but speaking and interacting with you guys live, that is awesome. It also helps with the analytics. It helps YouTube understand that people are interacting with this content, which makes it easier for other people to find it. And you know, that's a really important thing. It's really important. And everything on this channel is organic. Every person who's come here has come here because they're interested in the subject. Don't know if I can say that is honest is the situation with every channel on YouTube, but I've been it was very important to me to see whether or not people are actually interacting, as opposed to, you know, just getting the numbers to cut through all of that sort of stuff. Also, if you're watching this after the fact, after the live stream, if you're watching as a video, or for whatever reason you can't interact with us through YouTube, you can email us at laser.livestream@gmail.com. And we have a Facebook group that we interact with everyone during the between live streams. And you can, you're all invited to become a member of that. And you can get that at www.facebook.com/group/laserlivestream. And just like every other social media group that's out there, we have an Instagram and a Twitter, and both those feeds are at Laser Livestream. So if you would like to, I believe all the links are in the description below. Feel free to jump on those. Come, you know, it's a great way of knowing when the streams are going live, what's going on with the community, and it's pretty amazing. I think it's pretty amazing. I get bamboozled. I got to be honest with you. I'm not a social media person. I am here doing this because I missed working and with people on projects. When COVID-19 hit the world, I wasn't able to go into my makerspace. I couldn't work with the people that I worked with. And I said, you know what? Let's get creative. And look at this. I end up speaking and connecting with so many people that I never get the chance to. It is pretty awesome to see. I see Atomic Jared just joined us, tuning in from Sydney, and the man just got himself an Emblazer too. And there you go. Look at this. This is amazing. Stuart also saying, you're going to love it, man. Yeah, welcome to the family. Whether or not you've got an Emblazer, whether you've got something else, it's all good. It's just really interesting. Atomic Jared saying, thanks. Learning light bulb is very nice. Atomic Jared, are you talking about light burn? That's okay. It could be autocorrect. So you're the second person who's used the word light bulb instead of light burn today. I was actually just wondering whether or not it was a case that you might be someone I know. There you go. He's fixed it up right there. Look at that. Light burn. Awesome. I also want to say hello to Jolas. Jolas coming in saying hi. I believe Jolas might be a brand new Laserologist. Let me know in the chat below if this is your first time here. Either way, good to see you. Welcome back if you have been here before. It is awesome. Let me take a moment. Whew. You know what? I don't know. It's pretty amazing. Now, also, I forgot one other thing that I wanted to mention to you guys. During the chat, while it's live, if you want to support this channel in a more direct way than just hitting likes, and guys, if you want to hit the likes on this this live stream as you go, again, that helps us out. You can do one of two things. In YouTube itself, they have a thing called super stickers or super chats, and you can give a monetary amount that part of it goes to YouTube, part of it comes to me. Or in the link below, there is a one-time PayPal donation link, which means whatever you feel, whether it's a couple of dollars or whatever you want to do, you also get a chance to write a note to me if you wanted to speak, you know, share something. If these live streams or these tutorials have taught you something, might have saved you some money, maybe made your workflow a little bit better, and you want to give back, that is an amazing way to do it. And let me tell you right now, everything that I receive from both YouTube and the PayPal donation link goes back into the live streams. It's not, I'm not buying a Tesla, I'm not going out and eating a meal. It is either going into getting equipment for the live streams, buying material for the lasers, and being able to develop more content for you guys. So again, there's no pressure on that. I just want to bring that to your attention. And again, that's a great way of being able to support. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about what we're going to do today on the show. So what's on the show today? We're going to go through the Laserologist showcase as we do all the time. And we're going to go through some of the projects that people have developed in the last 2 weeks since our last live stream. Then we're going to go and talk about essential laser accessories. These may not be what you think about it. You never know. These happen to be some of the things that I use, and I've spoken to other people when working with their laser. It makes life a little bit easier. And I want to also hear from you what you may use that other people might not. And then we're going to finish off this laser live stream by going through another bit of material. We call that the good, the bad, the ugly. I don't know. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it going to be ugly? We're going to find out real soon. So thanks a lot for sticking around. Okay, Jolis is here. First time. I'm from Germany. Welcome. That's far away. And my job is repairing the CO2 RF lasers. An expert. We just had an expert join the Laserologist community. So there you go. Thank you so much for joining us. Love to hear and love to not only hear from you, but also share your knowledge, because you know what? It's awesome. And Mal's here. Hey Mal, how you doing? Sorry you're late, no problem. Designing and making drawers for our camper and just came inside, but at least you're here. Absolutely, Malcolm. It's great to see you. And I see that Adrian wants the new Emblazer 3. From what I understand, they're working hard on it. Believe me. Maybe we'll have to ask Dominic the next time. But the Emblazer 3, I think, is going to be well worth the wait. I know they're still working on getting components in this post-COVID world. It's terrible. I don't have any other news about the Emblazer 3, so how about we go and look at some of the projects that people have developed in the last 2 weeks and have shared with us. Our very first project comes from Mick Towers. Mick has been sharing projects all for the last couple of weeks, and you can see here that he's working on engravings, and I believe that this is the white tile method, and this is the Norton white tile method. If you want to know more about that, you can go to the Facebook group. It used to be called Norton's Den of Lasers. It's now called Den of Lasers. These tiles are amazing. It is so cool to be able to see people develop their skills from 1 week to another. You can see the progression of kind of honing in and dialing in what is going on with their laser and their workflow. And Mick has just like completely knocked it out of the park. If you take a look at that skeleton on the left-hand side, the detail on that is just incredible. And I'm not too sure exactly how he's done that, but if you take a close look, you can see that there's almost a texture behind the skeleton that is amazing. It's just, it truly is amazing. I've got a feeling that the graphic itself had that detail in there, and instead of just scanning the area with the skeleton, the laser has gone the full length and actually put that detail in. It's pretty amazing. And then again, on the right-hand side, you can see a stunning portrait that has been developed. So Mick, good job, and keep sharing them. It's a real pleasure to see the development of your process 1 week at a time. Well done. And there you go, Commander Koenig. I had to put this in for a number of reasons. I know Commander Koenig's in the room. So this happens to be a Japanese lantern. And what's so funny about that is that I just spent the last 10 weeks building lanterns very similar to this with the students that I was working with. That was their whole project on the laser, was to make their own kind of lantern. And when I saw this, I actually shared it with the teacher that I was working with. And I said, check this out. Someone's done exactly the same thing. So this, I know, is a Japanese lantern. Scott shared with us that he actually used rice paper as a diffuser and just put some LED, strip LEDs in there. And it is, look at the detail on it. I don't know if you guys can see it on your screens, but in the middle, in the circle, is actually Mount Fuji. And you can see that detail. Pretty amazing. So Scott, I hope you're, unfortunately there's a delay from me sending the signal to YouTube and then getting back to you. But such a great piece. And as I said, it brought smiles on the face of the teacher I was working with on my last day. I was like, check this out. We're going to talk about it. Come to the live stream. They may drop in. We'll see. Great job, Scott. Keep it up. Love seeing it. It is Mount Fuji. Yes. Looks, Stuart saying, well done. I agree. Dean Stanford, all the way from America. Zoom in and make more details. You know what? Hang on a second. Let me see. I don't think I can. That's one of the limitations of the software I'm using. Oh, hang on a second. Let me see. Let me see if I can do this live. Can you? Oh, look at that. Can you see that? There you go. Look right. There you go. Let me see if I can make this any bigger. I don't know if I can. It is so hard to do. Hang on a second. See, this is I'm showing you it in the background here now. Look at that. How's that? There you go. There's the mountain right in the middle. Right in the middle. So there you go. I'm hoping that's going to work. You're messing up my formula, Scott. That was my fault. I should have prepared it that way. But yeah, you can definitely see it there. Fuji, the Sakura are the best. Cool. Very good, man. Very good. The koi is the worst. All right. Okay. I hope you guys can see it. We'll see what happens. Yeah. See, professionalism all out the window. All right, let's move on. Dean has been sharing his journey. He's doing a lot of stuff on wood, and you can see this skeleton. Again, what I love about this is compared to using a tile, the wood itself has a whole texture that makes the engraving absolutely pop. And that's, again, one of the things that I love exploring with everyone. It's like you get different results with different materials, and then as you hone them in, you get these kind of unique pieces of art. Obviously, the graphic, the actual image itself that's being engraved has been made by an artist, but then the actual process itself leads to another almost interpretation of the artwork itself. So great job, Dean. Really cool, and I love seeing what you're going to come up with next. Talking about workflows and progression, Dor has been working with tiles, coloring them in using ink markers, but he, I think, took a completely different turn and has started doing these landscapes, and these landscapes are amazing because it's not a photographic interpretation, but it's almost, again, it looks almost like something that what's his name, Bob Ross might do. Like paint, it's almost like a painting style, an interpretation of an image as such. And these, when I saw these, I was like, wow. Talk about controlling the actual process to create something that's really unique. I would love to get Dor on the Laser live stream. I'll have to reach out to him and see what we can do. But I love his process, and I'm not too sure how he created this. I don't know whether this is due to image processing. I'm assuming it is, that there's a filter on there. But again, these things come out incredibly well. And of course, as Stuart has just mentioned, these are two tiles that are seamlessly engraved. So you've got an amazing image on two separate tiles. Again, I've got questions. Did you do each tile individually? Were they done together on the laser bed? Or is there something that we're totally missing? But incredible work. And if you've ever worked with tiles, if you've ever done engravings on two separate types of mediums, you can understand the achievement that this project has actually accomplished. So Dor, great work. I do know that time differences is probably going to kill us to do this live, but let's talk. Ben is a brand new laserologist who's been sharing his brand new journey when it comes to lasers. And you can see here, he's done a tile, and you can see the message here: true friends are never apart, maybe in distance, but never in heart. Again, this is probably one of his first projects, and the results are amazing. Is it simple just to put text down on a tile? Until you've actually done it and dialed in the settings and done your tests, you'll never know. But you know what? This is a great project, and I'm so glad you shared it with us, Ben, because it's not all about, refining the process all the way down the track, because I'm sure you'll keep going, and I'm hoping that you will share your results with us, but also trying things out and seeing where they take you. And I really like your result here. Ben, great job. And David Lawrence, Now I'm realizing that the lion, is that lion or tiger? That's a tiger. I'm sorry. The tiger on the right hand side happens to be one of the House of Lasers images that everyone kind of grabs and sees what the results they can have. So I think this image is going to turn up. But David is again working with, believe that this is on glass. So it's paint on glass, and you can see the results he's getting out of this. Again, you can see what you can actually create by tuning in your laser, getting that detail out there, both with the lion, the tiger. Why am I saying lion? I don't know. And also with the girl with the tattoos, you can see it's almost a photographic representation of the image as it's being converted through the laser and then obviously removing material. So David, great job. Really, again, you know, I get a thrill out of this, and I hope by those who are actually watching as well, seeing the progress that people are making every single week by going back and refining the processes, learning a little bit more, you know, trying new things out. It is just really cool. David, fantastic job. And Adrian, who's here live. One of the things that I love about Adrian's projects are the fact that he posts up not just his finished artwork, but also the image he's using for the artwork. And here again, you can see the incredible results that he's getting. Now, I do know Adrian's using a Blazer core, and it's just amazing to see. Jen, good to see you too. I agree with you. Amazing projects tonight. And you can see with both the original image and the processed image, it is so cool to see the result. Now, Adrian's in the room, so I'm hoping Adrian can tell us what is the medium. Is this MDF that's been painted? I don't want to. Sometimes I get lost. There's so many projects when I'm preparing that I sometimes forget what the processes are. But hopefully Adrian will jump in here. But either way, you got this absolutely spot on. Absolutely, you can actually see the reflection towards the back of the camper is actually captured in the laser engraved image, and that's pretty cool, Adrian. Well done, mate. I love seeing your work, really do. And Adrian's also playing with new materials. So this is a material that comes from a laser stockist. I think it's Trotec, and these are a metal surface that you engrave away and remove a black surface. I want to get a hand on some of this material and actually introduce it to you guys, because there is some amazing products out there that you can use. So so he's made a whole bunch of keychains, the deplorables, the epic road trip. I've made some, I've used some of this type of material. I have a red kind of top surface that engraves away to be black, or actually white. And I think I showed you guys the phaser tag. So for my Star Trek phaser, which I use this sort of stuff with. But yeah, it is just amazing to be able to actually create these professional labels using this material. I'm going to reach out again. I did speak to a supplier here in Australia, and life got in the way. But I'm going to reach out to them again, because there's some incredible products out there that you can also utilize. And Adrian's also sharing that it was MDF that was painted with 2 coats of flat white ceiling house paint and then given a light sand. Mate, it is a pretty amazing job that you're doing, and it's great to see how you're exploring different materials, especially materials that are designed to be used in the laser, and a hell of a professional result. I hope people enjoy those keychains. They are awesome. And Drew is also another new laserologist who's been sharing his journey. I think this one may be the ones that were on glass. And again, you can see the tiger, not the lion. You see? Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. I'm telling you, it's a lion. No, it's a tiger. Gosh, I'm telling you, that sugar went to my brain today. You can see that on the right-hand side, but you can also see the detail he's also gotten on the left-hand side images. They are incredibly sharp. I think these pieces might be on glass as well. So it is just pretty amazing. Adrian also saying, wow, what a nice car. It is an incredibly nice car. You know, the detail on that is just phenomenal. I know that they were using some really interesting laser equipment, which I've been lucky enough to get a hold of, and I'm going to go and explore a little bit. I think they were using an auteur laser unit, which was specialized for engraving. I forgot the name of it now. They have all these. It's not a name. It's almost a serial number. But I'm looking forward to actually playing with that a little bit and seeing where that goes as well. But what a great job. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but on the tiger image, it's incredibly small. That's his fingers and his thumb on the left-hand side. So it's not a large image, and it's still getting that incredible resolution and that crispness, which is again incredibly nice. So, old man Keith Richards says Stuart. Maybe I thought it was Freddy Krueger, but you're probably right. It's probably Keith Richards, isn't it? I shouldn't say that. He'll get upset and say you can't do the live stream anymore. The auteurs are a nice laser. Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to playing with one and seeing what they can do. And the last one, this was a pretty good project in my book. I was actually really surprised, and I would love to do this myself. But this is Mark, who's another new member to the community. He made what he calls a matrix table. So he had a table. He was able to take a piece of acrylic, otherwise known as plexiglass, and he put it through a CO2 laser to put that kind of coding, that coding motif in there, and then used some LEDs to light it up green, and it created this, as he said, it's a matrix table. And that's a pretty awesome piece. I know I'd be really happy to have that in my office. And it's actually given me some ideas of what I can do when I get a bigger place. I don't have any room for anything like that now. But this is, again, just a really creative piece. Stuart's sharing us this brilliant, love the thinking out of the box. Commander Koenig saying that's an awesome piece there. Yeah, it's really good to see that type of creativity, taking something and utilizing a table and then actually kind of hacking away at it. It's definitely the hacker ethic, which also works really, really well with the idea of the matrix and the computers. But taking something that's pre-existing and changing it up the way you would want it, so that it'll actually create a new experience, is exactly what goes on. So Mark, great job there. I don't know if you're keeping it or you're selling it or whatever, but that's a corker, mate. You did a great job there. And given the fact that the Matrix 1, 2, and 3 were made in Australia, I'm going to say it's a cracker. That's exactly what it is. So there we go. That is the Laserologist's showcase for this laser live stream. It's always fun. I got to be honest, it's always fun to be able to see what people are doing. We get lots of engravings, amazing work, and then you get these incredible projects that people create. Commander Koenig with his lantern, the matrix table at the end, take the skills that you learn and make them uniquely your own. Express yourself. And I love that. So it is pretty awesome and pretty cool. Moving right along, because that's the way we work here. We move right along. We're going to talk about essential laser accessories. What makes your life a little easier when you're working with things, when you're working with your laser. This was actually a subject that a few people had asked me on Facebook and directly. They were asking me, I've got a laser, Gil. What do you suggest? Should I get this? Should I get that? What do you use? And a lot of the questions were what you would have expected. Should I get a rotary so that I can engrave glass, or a tumbler? What about an exhaust system? Well, what about a housing for my diode laser? That's something we can talk about in a different live stream if you guys are interested in it. Today, we're going to talk about all those little tools that you may have lying around the house, but having them close by can actually take your workflow and take it to another level. And for me, these are literally personally the tools that I've found that have helped me when I use my laser. When I'm working with my Emblazer 2, they are always nearby. In fact, to the point where I've actually created kind of housings for some of these equipment. So it's very easy for me to grab them as I'm actually working on different projects. I've actually picked, I think it's 7 things. I did a bonus one. that I believe are essential if you're going to create things with lasers. And I know that these things have definitely made my process a lot better. Now, the very first one, and you know, in the chat room, let me know if you agree with some of the things that I'm going to bring up, and also share with me some of the things that you might use. We might do that at the end. We'll see, so that I can, maybe I'll do some searching on the internet with some of your suggestions. But the very first one is something that I think that if you've got a laser, you should not be without this device. And that happens to be a pair of digital calipers. If you haven't used them before, they are incredibly handy for a lot of processes. The one that I love using the most is actually measuring the thickness of the material that I'm putting into my laser. If you have bought 3mm laser ply and you go and you check it with digital calipers and it works out to be 2.7 or it is 3.4, and both of those things have happened to me, that will actually have an impact on the result of the laser process. The more that you can hone in the thickness of your material, the better the focus of the laser and the better result you'll get in the job. So that is essential to have. I do not put a piece of material into my laser unless it is measured beforehand. And here I go. Commander Koenig's sharing with us. Got the calipers, but only the digits involved are my fingers. Okay, that's fair enough too. And Becca saying, my favorite tool, I use it constantly. David Boyer, how you doing, my friend? It's good to see you as well. But yeah, digital calipers are 100% the first thing that I will not. I actually, when I go to someone's place to do some laser work, I have a spare pair of calipers. They're sitting on my desk. That's how close they are to my laser. These are just a really cheap pair that I got at a Bunnings. Yes, okay, hang on a second, guys. I'm back. Wow. All right. I have no idea what happened there. Wow. I'm really sorry about that. I apologize. I just went through the whole thing. Tell me if I'm still here. Whoa, Gil, stop. That's better. All right. That's okay. I got a knock on the door. I'm back. I apologize. What I was saying was, even with these cheap $20 pair, they may be not as smooth as some of the other ones. The great thing about it is I'd rather use a clunky pair than go without. You pay good money for your material. And if you're using laser ply or specialized material, you want to get the best result out of it. And one of the best ways of being able to do that is making sure that the focus of your laser is as close and as accurate as possible. Measure your material, put that number in, whether or not you're doing it in Lightburn itself or whether you are measuring the gap between the laser and the laser head. So sorry guys, I hope that all works for you. Where's the sound gone? Oh my gosh. Let's see what else is going on. We've got Mouse says yes, definitely have a set and use them often. Adrian's saying I have a few pair in case one breaks down. I agree too. I have 3 or 4 pairs around here. I break a lot of them trying to get them a little smoother. Those little wheels inside get it in problem. Peter saying it's essential for any kind of making. I agree. And going back to the graphic very quickly, you can see all the different ways that you can actually use these. So you've got these in external jaws, so you can measure. You've got the internal, so you can actually measure the internal space. You can also do depth. I mean, these are a really good tool to have, and they are pretty awesome. So please, you know what? If you haven't tried it out, give it a shot. My latest purchase. Awesome. Thank you so much, SJA. And my friend, I've got a friend of mine here who's just dropped in, and he just said, my daughter just said that my phone had a laser. I opened YouTube, and by chance, the listening algorithm brought you up. Thank you. Really? That's amazing. You know what? We do this every 2 weeks, David, so I'm glad you're here. I don't know if you're still here, but maybe that's it. Maybe David just wanted me to go away. We'll see what's going on. But there you go. The listening algorithm brought me up. See, all that interaction, all your chats, all your support, it's getting out there. because I know David. He doesn't want to do anything with lasers, but he caught up with me, so that's kind of cool. All right, let's jump by everyone saying you're back. Yeah, we should have taken a lip reading course. Hey, man, the show must go on, so it's no problem. Peter also shares that there are analog ones as well, and they're great when the batteries run out. You do have to learn how to use them. I do have my original pair when I was doing an engineering course, and I still use them. But one of the cool things is in these pairs. Whoa, sorry. We'll get there. In those pairs, you do have that digital readout that makes life a lot easier. You do not need to be an expert on using these to be able to use them. Use them. It's all good. Jen said, weird? I heard him the whole time? That is so funny, Jen. I'm glad. I think you're having me on, but that's all good. Mike also saying, we use them all the time to measure the thickness. Great to hear. And Chick saying, only use Starret? Are they a make of digital calipers or veneers? Let me know. I haven't heard of those before. I know that there's a Japanese company, $200 a pair. Mate, even if I had $200, I'd rather put the money into some material. But guys, you know what? That's kind of cool. Malcolm saying, try to measure thickness with a steel ruler is too inaccurate. I agree. I totally agree with that. You're not going to get those increments that you really want to know. And Adrian also says, I use them with 3D printing too. If you're like me, you got these 3D printers behind you, and you got a laser right there. I use those digital veneers all the time. All the time. When I print something, I check the measurement, see what it's out. It's awesome. It's also good. Mal saying, no many people know how to read an analog veneer nowadays. I agree with that. Audrey saying, you have a very special connection to Jen. Jen's hearing me regardless. It's all cool. Audio drop. You guys are now making fun of me. Nah, it's all good. You guys are awesome. Apparently the audio dropped for a bunch of people. That's okay. Chick's sharing with us, the brand is the best on the market, but they're expensive. Oh, okay. Yes, the US made ones. I haven't seen them. Okay. That's kind of cool. And Mal also saying it's a high quality instrument. All right. I'm gonna go take a look at them. As I said, there's a Japanese brand. I think it's MU. I can't even say the name because it hasn't popped in my head. But again, it's kind of interesting to see where that's at. So guys, let's move on a little bit, only because we've got a few things to go through still here. It looks like it's going to be a long one, but that's cool. If you guys are going to hang out with me, it's going to be awesome. See, Stuart's also sharing us that fitters and turners know how to read these things, these analog things. Little secret, I did a fitting and turning job years ago. And look, Stuart knows everything. How do we say that? Mitio? Yo? I'm not even going to try to say it. But yeah, they're the ones that I have seen around here in Australia quite a bit. So it's kind of cool. All right, let's move on to the next tool, essential tool in my book. And that happens to be magnets. You will be surprised how many times magnets can get you out of a problem when you're using your laser. Now, depending on what laser machine you have, the machine that I have has a base, a steel base, so I can actually use the magnets on that base to hold material if need be. If you've got a stainless steel or aluminium, stainless steel is not a problem, but if you've got aluminium, you can also put a metal board, a piece of metal underneath, and use a magnet to secure your material. And I found that works incredibly well. You can also use magnets to prop up material. So if you need to have a space, you can use it that way. Peter just beat me to the punch. If you have a piece of wood that happens to be warped, just a little bit warped, and it's holding up, if you put a piece of metal underneath, if you don't have a base plate, and you can use a magnet to actually hold that down. Obviously, it depends on the degree of bowing on that material, but you can actually bring it together and still use that material. So there is amazing ways to be able to use magnets. I've even dropped small little screws when I'm doing maintenance on my machine, and have fallen down into like a lip, or that magnet pops it straight back out. So you cannot get enough magnets. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is the ones that I have pictured here. They're called rare earth magnets. They are incredibly, incredibly strong. Some people will take old computer hard drives and harness the magnets out of there. Just be careful. I've actually had an issue where the magnets have they've lined up, so they've actually kind of attracted themselves together. And if you get your finger caught or a piece of webbing of skin or something like that, it's not only painful, it's almost impossible to get apart if because you're in pain, and also if you don't have someone else there. I got caught, and people have damaged their hands using really strong rare earth magnets. So you can harness and you can harvest these magnets from any sort of hard drives or anything like that. I actually tend to buy magnets that are not as strong as the ones being used, because oh man, you got to be careful. Blood blisters from magnets. Blood blister, it hurts, but you're gonna live with it. I actually damaged my finger at one time because I got it trapped in between. Mal's saying he's got magnets too. Magnets out of old hard drives are great. Just heard the comment by Gil. You can use them. It's not a problem. It's just be aware that if you get caught out, you can actually get yourself into a little bit of trouble. And Paul, I'm pretty sure Zululand Aquaponics is Paul. Is it acceptable to cut with a material lying on a silicon sheet? Interesting question. So on the machine that I use, we have silicon-based mats that come standard with the machine. So yes, but depending on how thin that silicon is, or silicon rubber is, because that's the mats that we use, it may absorb a lot of energy and start to break down. So again, it depends. If it's a kitchen kind of silicon mat used for cutting and stuff like that, I personally wouldn't use it. But again, depends on the power of your laser and how often you're going to use it. But silicon is definitely something that is heat resistant. But it's like anything. You put enough energy into a material, it will break down. It will catch on fire. And in fact, I had a situation about 2 months ago where one of the silicon mats had been cooked, in meaning that the person who had used it had used one mat in the same area and had burnt through the material and then kept going and just kept doing multiple passes at very high energy levels. And then we just ended up having a situation where that silicon mat combusted. Now, in that case, everyone stood there and just went, "Hey, Gil, there's a fire." No one did anything. So I came in, I took it outside, I put it out. It was incredibly, incredibly rare, but that can happen. So it depends on the thickness and the type of silicon you're having. Commander Koenig, enjoy your dinner. I know we're going a little longer tonight, but you will catch it. I will see you on the flip side, and hopefully I'll see you next week as well. Peter's sharing with us, I use tiny ones in a lot of products to keep the lids closed. Yeah, tiny rare earth magnets are fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Cool. Let's move on when it comes to... So magnets, definitely, start collecting them. You never know when they're going to come in handy. Our third piece of essential equipment when it comes to laser accessories happens to be masking tape. So many people look past masking tape for a number of reasons, or only think it's good for one type of application. So masking tape can be used to protect different areas of your material when it comes to actually engraving or cutting, and you can burn through the masking tape and let the masking tape absorb the energy so it doesn't burn your material and give you a cleaner cut. You can use masking tape to protect the borders of an engraving. You can use masking tape to hold a piece of material in place. And you can even use masking tape to remove little pieces that have been cut out of your work. So I use the masking tape to actually grab onto those little pieces that have been cut away and pick them up so that I don't actually have them floating in the machine. So masking tape, again, is one of those things where I can't get enough of it. I use it in so many different ways. When I'm cleaning my laser, I use masking tape to take all the air tubes and put them to the side so they're not in the way when I'm cleaning out my laser, right? When I'm preparing and cleaning the lens, again, I can take elements that I've pulled apart and actually tape them to the side so I know where they are. especially small little pieces. They are awesome. SJA's, I'm just curious, what's the trouble you're having buying magnets? Let me know in the chat room. I'm curious as to what the problems are. And Adrian sharing that painter's masking tape works really well. It doesn't leave an adhesive on the material. I agree, and that's why the blue tape is actually painter's tape. Don't leave it on too long, but it gives you a very clean removal, and you don't have to go and remove that adhesive. So good tip there, Adrian. Peter's also saying a lot less sanding when you're using masking tape. Masking tape, awesome stuff. Stuart sharing that blue masking tape and painter's tape, I use it all the time, holding down jobs, cleaning edges. Absolutely. Malcolm also saying, got some, but probably don't use it often enough. You'll be surprised how often you use it. I actually took a wire coat hanger. I cut one side, turn it into 2 loops, and I slide all my my masking tapes on there and then hook it up and just put it on my door handle. So I've always got it handy, and then when I'm using the laser, I take it over and I'm able to actually distribute it as I need it. Surprisingly enough, I remember that I had cut out small little details on a piece and I could not get them out. I was using keys. In the end, I just took a piece of masking tape, put it on the material, took it off, and the adhesive pulled all those pieces out without damaging anything. So again, that's really cool stuff. Blue or orange stuff, I've never seen the blue or orange stuff. I know blue stuff. I know green stuff. I have never seen orange stuff. I'm going to have to keep an eye out on that one, Adrian. And SJA is sharing with us strong enough magnets. Amazon. I don't know. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll go and take a look at some of the examples. Maybe I'll put links below. Guys, let me know if you want me to start putting like links. Usually there are affiliate links and things like that. I know I'm kind of funny with that sort of stuff, but if you guys want me to do that beforehand, I can definitely do that for you guys. Peter saying, I've got wide tape. Great for coasters. There you go. So definitely grab yourself some masking tape. Doesn't matter how thick it is. Doesn't matter how thin it is. You can always layer it up. But I've definitely found that is amazing. And if you've got a need to do a very quick mask, if you're painting something or you want to make a stencil, lay down some of that masking tape, right, on a piece of sacrificial material, then cut it out. And then you can actually remove, you can weed the inside, take that tape off, reattach it somewhere and spray. And I've done that many times too. Malcolm says, I use masking tape everywhere in the shed, so I'll have to start using it with the laser. Awesome. Awesome. I hope that actually opened a new avenue of using masking tape, especially with the laser. Let's move on to the fourth essential tool that I use when it comes to my lasers, and that happens to be compressed air. And I wanted to put a caveat here, but I use compressed air a lot. Now, the only caveat that I really want to share with you, and I'll talk to the camera directly for this, is if you've got a lot of debris, if you haven't cleaned your laser, your laser happens to be in an enclosure like the Emblazer 2, taking compressed air and blowing things out of it is only going to take all the stuff that hasn't been pulled out with with your extraction fan. All it's going to do is blow that up, and usually blow it up out in your face. So I tend to use compressed air, especially in a can like this, only after I've actually cleaned out my machine. And I do that with, of all things, I use baby wet naps. So, the things that you would use to clean a child, I find that they are moist, and the moisture on those will actually take all those little tiny microscopic little bits of pieces that have landed in the machine that haven't been sucked out. And I go through and clean all of that, and then I go and take a paper towel and dry it all up that way as well. So once that's done, I know that there's nothing really loose in my machine that's going to be caught by the compressed air. Or if it is, it's going to be a very minute amount, because what I want to avoid is pushing all that stuff into the atmosphere, aerosolizing it, and then breathing it in. That is the worst thing that you can do for a person. And since lasers basically burn and pulverize on a very minuscule level, just, you know what, at the end of the day, your laser, go take a towel, put some water on it, and just wipe it down. See how much stuff comes up. Just got to be really careful with that sort of stuff. So with that said, I use compressed air all the time. I use it when I'm cleaning my lens. I use it to make sure that there is no debris in any of the air tubes. I love using compressed air. The other thing that I want to let you guys know is that most air dusters or compressed air cans actually have propellant in the bottom. You want to always use the can upright. You only want the stream of air, and that basically, as you use it, it expands. If you happen to tilt the can, you will have a whole, it's almost like a foam, or not a foam, it's kind of almost like a jet exhaust will come out and just push it all the way through. And you don't want to get that on your lens. You don't want to get that anywhere near your laser. So you don't want the propellant in there. Fun fact for some of you out there who also understand and understand my love of science fiction TV and films, that these air duster cans were used in the Eagles in Space 1999 to make the jet exhausts when the machines were landing. And what they actually did was, in the main pod, they, instead of having them flat, they actually tilted them up, so all the propellant would come out when they activated the cans to spray. And that was their cheap way of creating kind of like an exhaust out there. So just, you know, very creative, very cheap way to do it. But if you're using it on your laser, you do not want that propellant, or not really propellant, but the pressure, what am I calling it? I forgot what it's called now. I called it something else before. Anyway, I got all hung up on the special effects of Space 1999. But you don't want that propellant coming out. So make sure that you are always using it upright. And if you use it upright, it is an incredibly great way to help clean your machine. Now, Scotty Highlander has something. He goes, did you know that masking tape, when it gets old and dry, can be made sticky again by microwaving it 10 seconds? No, I didn't. And I'm going to do that because I've got some old stuff here. Thank you so much for that tip. SJ sharing with us that baby wipes are like Windex. It's so good. Baby wipes, if you're a maker, if you're creative, you've got to have some baby wipes on hand. If you paint something, they're amazing. If they are incredibly good. It's universal. They are so cool. Mal saying that he's going to microwave a few rolls. Let us know next time we're on the live stream what's going on. Peter's also saying great tip. It's awesome. Transfer tape is cheaper by the meter. Cut it up in half and half again. I use a bandsaw. Transfer tape. Interesting. I wonder where I could get transfer tape. But that's another great tip. And I do have a bandsaw. It's not here, but maybe we can do that. That's also a fantastic tip, and Stuart thinks so too. Peter saying, cool, love those old effects tricks. That's one of the reasons why the models had to be a certain size, Peter, so they could get 2 of those canisters in. I'll dig out some photos and I'll send them to you directly. It's all kind of cool. Scott, Commander Koenig himself, we're just talking Space 1999, is back from dinner. Dude, do not inhale. You can sit and eat while you watch us. That's awesome. Malcolm saying, I'll have to go shopping for a tin of compressed air now. Mal, Officeworks. Just ask for an air duster. They use them for computers and stuff like that. Awesome to be able to have a can there, and you'll be surprised at how much it'll get you out of trouble. SJ is saying, great tip, Scotty. Use transfer tape for my vinyl and window decals. There you go. Awesome. Adrian sharing, it's hydrocarbons. Yes, I guess that's exactly what the propellant is. Thank you so much, my friend. Scotty saying, I think I need to change. I'm thinking I need to think about changing my wasteboard. I've got a cork surface pegboard material, and magenta won't work. You know what, Scott? We're going to talk about that in the next. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the next laser live stream. So you're going to have to hang out there. It definitely won't work with magnets. Absolutely. And magnets won't work. Not magenta. Magnets. Oh, yeah, I can see that. You can also, with your wasteboard, depending on how thick it is, you can put a metal plate, a steel plate. That's the great thing about magnetism. It goes through things. Okay, let's move on to the 5th item that I use all the time with my laser, and that happens to be isopropyl alcohol. Just like masking tape, I have isopropyl alcohol at my workstation all the time. Now, I have the little pump bottle on the left-hand side. I bought one a few years ago, But what I do is I went and bought some like a 5 liter isoclean or isopropyl alcohol, and I actually just refill it. And I find that those little spray pumps are fantastic. Now, I do know that depending on when you bought your laser, they actually came with a little dispenser for like isopropyl alcohol for cleaning the lens or anything like that. I never got one, but I actually have to hunt one down because I like that a lot. But I do love that pump spray because you can control how much comes out, where you're going to put it, whether you're going to put it on a rag or on something directly. I use isopropyl alcohol when I clean my lens and I don't have a specialized lens wipe with me. It's amazing the amount of things that you can do. Stuart's also saying, I use alcohol all the time. It's great for cleaning. Depending on the material that you are using in your laser, I wouldn't suggest it for wood, but if you're using some plastic or you're using some solid acrylic, clear acrylic, all those things, isopropyl alcohol won't affect them, but will clear off any residue, anything that needs to be taken off very, very quickly. Peter saying he has gallons of the stuff, especially when he's using his SLA printer. We'll talk about SLA printers in the future, Peter. Someone gifted me one as a Christmas present. I haven't used it yet because of the danger that I believe is in the resin. But yes, you have to use isopropyl alcohol in that. And SJA saying, yep, decent to have a small spray bottle. And the shopping list is growing, says Mal. That's okay. You don't have to have all of these things. But again, it is nice to be able to do that. Yeah, resin printers are interesting. I have one because I'm in an apartment. I don't have a workspace. I refuse to use my resin printer where I live. You need to vent that stuff out. The resin itself is a little toxic to human beings. You can use water-based resin. It's safer. That's actually what I've got as well. But the handling, that's another. You know what? We'll do a resin printer live stream one day, and we'll see what's going on there. Cheeks sharing he uses denatured alcohol. That's fine. It's not very similar in that sort of stuff, but yeah, it's pretty awesome. So isopropyl alcohol is definitely something that I use quite a bit. And our second last item that I use a lot of, and it just changed the way that I got results on the laser, happens to be lens wipes. So depending on what you're using and your lens, again, everything when it comes to lasers, whether you're using a diode laser or a CO2 laser, goes through a lens to hone that energy into a point that you can utilize the maximum amount of energy created by your laser source. Now, a lot of people use these Zeiss lens cleaning wipes. They've come with my laser. I have a number of those things. Other people will use lens wipes for glasses. It really is up to you. I know some people who absolutely swear by the Zeiss lens cleaning wipes. Again, it really just depends on your choices on what goes on. I wanted to put these two examples here. As I was saying to you guys before, if you can get a hold of some lens cleaning tissue, isopropyl alcohol will remove anything that's on your lens. But some people like to have these lens wipes handy. So feel free to go and explore what works best for you. I use the exact ones on the right, says SJA, the clear wipe lens cleaners. And you know what? I obviously, guys, I wear glasses. I use these wipes all the time if I have them. And I do notice that sometimes they leave a film, right? They leave a kind of weird film on my glasses. So again, you don't want that on the lens itself. And again, depending on what your laser is, what type of laser it is, what type of lens system it's using, you do want to use the correct wipe or chemical to clean the lens. So a CO2 laser will have a cleaning solution that you'll place on with an earbud or Q-tip, as they say in America. A diode laser will use a lens that you can use one of these wipes incredibly quickly and easily too. But either way, work out what the best way to clean your lens is and make sure that you have some on hand, because if you're working on projects, you want to make sure that you're getting the best result. And one of the ways of doing that is making sure your lens is clean every single time you're going into a new project. That's what I'm going to say about lens wipe. And they're good for your glasses if you wear glasses like me. What can I say? What can I say? Bright wipes are good too, says Adrian. I haven't seen those, but that's cool. I'll check them out. Adrian also saying, sorry, Mal is saying the foils, the Trotec foils. We looked at them before, but that's okay. And now the last essential piece of equipment that I use as a laser accessory might not be considered by everyone a laser accessory, but I think it's incredibly important. As much as everything that I've shown you here, the last thing I want to discuss with you here today is a fire blanket or an extinguisher. Now, again, I'm very lucky to have a machine that came with a fire blanket that I have put up on the wall by my laser for the situation that may occur. And it hasn't happened to me, and I'm hoping it will never happen to me, that my material will combust and start a fire in the laser. Now, the Emblazer 2 does have a heat sensor which will shut off the laser, but by that time, that fire will be well established. It will have melted most of the machine. And I would like my machine to live to cut another day. So by having a fire blanket, if something like that got out of control, I could grab the blanket, throw it on to the laser, cut the power, and hopefully smother that fire. Or if you have a bigger laser, you may want to have a fire extinguisher. And in that case, in Australia, we have different models of fire extinguishers, and they call them A, B, and E extinguishers. They are powder extinguishers, because the last thing you want to do is spray water onto an electrical device, because God forbid that actually happened and the machine is still live, you could accidentally electrocute yourself. But those powder fire extinguishers will definitely put the fire out, but it will also destroy your laser. Can you imagine powder all throughout your laser diode or laser tube? You'll be cleaning those mirrors. You'll have to replace them, and the lenses might get scratched. But let's be honest about it. Having these handy could not just save your machine, but it could save your life, because there's a weird thing going on in a number of laser groups right now on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. People keep putting photos up of their lasers after a fire broke out and saying things like, "Welcome to the club." Let me tell you right now, in all honesty, if you have a laser that combusts material and takes out the laser or takes out the room, you have completely bypassed all the safety steps needed to operate that laser safely. It's not something that I would want at all to be proud of. And I've been actually collecting a number of these images. I'm going to share them with you guys on another live stream. This is not a common thing. It is not a common thing to start a fire in your laser. Just seems that the more people kind of, keep sharing these, it's like, so-and-so did it, it's okay. Guys, don't do it. Be safe. Be safe. Don't leave your laser unattended. Don't leave a camera on it and decide you're going to watch TV in the other room, and when you turn back, find out that there's a fire going on. Please don't. But in the case that something ignites, the best bet you've got is a fire blanket and an extinguisher. I didn't add it here, and I was just thinking about it as I was speaking. I also leave a standalone smoke detector in my workspace, whether it's for the laser or the 3D printer. If I have anything that ignites and creates smoke, I want that thing blaring in my ear so I can get to it. Generally, I do let the 3D printers run because it's such a long process. I can't be there. But when it comes to the laser, I'm always watching what's going on. So guys, they are my 7 essential laser accessories. Again, it's not what I think a lot of people thought it was going to be, but these things are low cost. They change the way you work with lasers, and I absolutely love it. Let's go and see what's going on. Malcolm saying, I'm going to try and get some for the Trotec guys. Oh, from the Design and Technology Conference next week. Mal, where's my ticket? I want to come. No, it's all good. I hope you have fun in Queensland. It's cold. It's warm there. Maybe I should go. Peter saying 1 spark is enough. It's definitely a very good idea. Yes, when it comes to ignition, One spark will change it all up. Look at that. Hang on a second. I've got to acknowledge that. That's kind of crazy. My good friend Cheeks, a must for me, high quality square material to machine and a good level. Absolutely. And thank you so much, Cheeks, for that super chat. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the community. I really appreciate it. It's awesome. And I agree with you. A high level square and square material to the machine and a good level. Great. I'm going to add those on to my list if that's okay. Thank you so much, man. I hope you're doing well. I can't wait to see your next project because what you've shown me so far has been awesome. Fire blankets hanging right next to my Emblazer 2, says Stuart. So is mine. I wish I could take the camera and just show you. It's literally, if God forbid a fire breaks out, I'm just pulling that thing out and throwing it on there and pulling the power. And I've worked out where that switch is so that I can do that really, really quickly. Mike's sharing as well. I have both a blanket and an extinguisher. In my workspace and a previous location, I do have an extinguisher. I don't have one here. Paul saying that I have a woodworking shop where I set up my laser. I have 2 extinguishers there. Fantastic. It's important not only to have the extinguishers and a blanket, if that's the way you want to go, but a plan. Like one of the things that I do is actually go and speak to schools and different organizations that set up maker spaces, and they go, I'm going to put this here. And I go, great. If there's a fire there, what are you going to do? What's the plan? Well, it's there, but the doors, you got to cross what would be a fire to get to the door. That's not going to be any good. So let's think about it. So, it's great that you guys have extinguishers there. It's also, I have both on either side, great insurance. I'm glad to hear that you do. Jen saying, to Adrian who says hello. I love him. Scott's going to have to find some 1999 clips on YouTube. Well, I've got all the episodes here, man. We can definitely do that. We'll do that on the other platform that I'll be sharing with everyone very soon. Lots of exciting things happening on the live stream coming up. Malcolm says, thanks, Adrian. Oh, see, everyone's now having side conversations. Why are we talking about the side conversations? I thought you were talking to me. That's Stuart saying, that's a club I don't want to ever join. Never leave your laser unattended. I don't want you to join it too, Stuart. I actually was getting a little bit miffed when people were, here's my photo of my fire, and the desk is chars and a cheaper laser unit has just gone on thing. It's crazy. Adrian also saying, my laser sits next to me. I never leave it alone. Absolutely, that's the best way to do it. Stuart sharing pen and paper to record all my settings and results. Awesome. Also use the library settings in Lightburn so that you can just pull up a setting and start from there as well. That's awesome. I don't know if Dom will be there, but the Emblazer 2 will be. I think you're talking about the Design and Technology Conference next week. I think he may be there. I don't know. I know he's working really hard on a project that everyone's waiting for, so we'll see what happens there. Dom might be here, or might not. We'll see what happens. The best accessory is the gray matter between your ears, says Peter. I agree with you 100% on that. 100% on that. Now, Atomic Jared says, what is the process if your cutting job suddenly ignites? I have a fire blanket. Now, great question. Great question. Going back to Peter's comment about gray matters being the best thing between your ears, it really depends on your situation. If I had my first ever fire, not in my own personal machine, but someone else's machine, and again, I was talking about it a little bit earlier, and what ended up happening was I had 5 people pointing to the machine saying, there's a fire there, Gil. And I went, okay, step aside. I turned the machine off, and then I took the material that was alight, and I was actually able to take it outside. So we happened to be in a room that led to the outside. I put it outside, and then I stepped on it and put it out. Perfect. I didn't give it time to actually ignite other material in the laser. And the laser head that was actually on top of where the flames were. So when I cut power, I moved it out of the way. That's one way. If I had left it 10 to 20 seconds later, if I wasn't watching it, if people weren't there, I don't know if I would be able to do that. In that case, I would have cut power to the laser immediately, and then I would have thrown a blanket on. Now, depending on whether or not you've got enclosure or not, you might want to open it up because what you want to do is smother the oxygen as quickly as possible if it's safe. If it works out that it's, ignited the laser and the material inside the laser is now alight, you may want to just throw a blanket onto it, cut power, and walk away, and let the fire just burn itself out, as long as it's not being fed by any other oxygen. Or if the whole unit is now ablaze and there's a risk of the flames actually igniting around the laser, then I would grab a fire extinguisher and put all of that out as quickly as possible. Again, if I was using a fire extinguisher and there was time to, I would actually pull the electrical cable out of the socket that I was using to make sure that there is no chance of electrocuting myself. Now, I'm saying all of this calmly. I'm saying all of this very, very rationally. But having an idea, thinking through what steps, if I'm at this point, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. That's what's going to make sure that you're safe at all times. Having a plan. And just by thinking it out means that in that moment, you don't have to go, what am I going to do now? You don't want to do that. So, depending on your situation, where things are, and, where you feel comfortable tackling the situation, that's what I would go with. Some people would definitely not open up a machine and take a flaming piece of material out of there and take it outside. I felt comfortable doing that because of the level of the ignition it was at that time. And that's just what I did. So I hope that helped, Jared. It says, and you actually said, cut the power and the blanket over the top of the whole machine, or do you also lift the lid and put the blanket on directly? I didn't even see your question. Again, depending on what it is, and it depends on whether or not I can take that blanket and put it into the machine. It really just depends on your judgment of whether or not, it's safe to do that. If you had a large CO2 machine with a big metal lid, you might want to open it up and put the blanket in directly. If it's a small desktop unit and it's got a polycarbonate top, you might not be able to get that in. I'm not too sure. You're going to have to make that decision yourself. But what I really hope that everyone's getting out of this conversation is take action. Don't sit there and point, because sooner or later it's all going to happen. All right. Mal says, unfortunately, with the cost of lasers coming down, the knowledge of how to use them is not there. Agreed. That's why I do the laser live streams and why I built this community. I saw a lot of people doing things not because they were dumb or reckless. They just didn't have the chance to understand and be educated. Sometimes it is more good luck than good management if nothing happens. I agree with you 100% on that. I want to make sure that and I've said this from the beginning, I want everyone to have a fantastic result, a fantastic time using their lasers, and I want them to be safe. That's it. I don't care what you make out of them. I want you to have such a great time you're going to come back and use them again. Guys, I don't make lasers. I don't sell lasers. I don't sell laser material. Whether you buy a laser, whether you buy an emblazer, whether you buy a copy of Lightburn, I get nothing out of that, right? I'm not here selling it. What I want to do, because I had this experience too, where I was using equipment and I didn't know. I didn't realize it was dangerous. Some of the things that I share with you here, I learned the hard way. I cut PVC and ended up, I don't want to say poisoning myself, but realizing that I had done something wrong. And then it's only through diving deep and asking questions and understanding the process that I did my first laser video, which was all about don't cut PVC. Don't poison yourself. So, that's where that comes from. Jen says, I'd be thinking lifting the lid would be more dangerous as you expose the fire to more oxygen. Again, it depends on the situation. If it's a small fire and you've just cut the power, remember you've got fans going and all the rest of it, it's still going to be a very oxygen-rich kind of environment. You could open up the lid and then put the blanket directly on the material that is alight, and that way you could snuff it out. It just depends on the level of ignition and what stage it's in. That's a choice every person has to make. If you don't feel comfortable with it, Jen, that's totally cool too. Bunny saying a CO2 extinguisher would be the best thing to use. Absolutely. CO2 extinguishers quite expensive here in Australia. Don't know if we can actually get them. I do know you can get them, but you've got to get them I think they're very expensive. So usually the extinguisher that I have in my workshop, it's about $10 to $15. It's a one-time thing, and it's a powder thing. So, you know, it's an option. And you're right. It'd be great to get a CO2 laser. CO2 laser. It'd be great. Yes, I personally, guys, if you know of a CO2 laser is going, I want to start delving into some tutorials for that too. Put the good word out. Tell people to support. But yes, a CO2 extinguisher would even be better. Even be better. Wow. Whew. We've had fun having this conversation. We went half an hour over. Let's go jump into the last part of the live stream here for us today. And that happens to be, whoa, that's not the right one. We're going to do those Laserologist challenges in the near future. Believe me, they haven't gone away. Just trying to get everything back up and running because I had to take some time off, unfortunately. But we're going to go into the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm even going to do this. I don't care. I know YouTube has flagged me for copyright violations for doing it, but I'm going to see if I can whistle the theme to the good and bad and the ugly. Let's see if that's going to give me a violation. This week, we're going to talk about a good material, and that happens to be what they call Coroplast, or otherwise known as corrugated plastic. And Coroplast is the name for corrugated plastic that's used for signs, packaging, and a whole lot more. They use it in agriculture. They use it for a whole bunch of different things. And the good thing is that Coroplast is actually sheets of polypropylene. So it's absolutely safe to use in your laser. And some of the things you can do with it is amazing. You can see some of the examples of signage that was made with different pieces and different colors of this Coroplast and then lasered and put together. But just be aware that because it is corrugated plastic, you may have an issue with the laser focus depending on how thick the plastic is, because it might have a very large focus area. And the other thing to just be aware of is that, again, because it's layered and because it's almost like crinkly, like corrugated cardboard does it too, where it creates thickness by putting material on an angle, that if you happen to have a flare up or flame start, there's a lot of oxygen that's going to be able to feed that fire very quickly. So again, feel free to use it. It cuts really well on diode lasers, CO2 lasers as well. Just make sure that you're keeping an eye on that material. Coroplast is quite cheap. You can get it in most stores, especially office work stores or signage stores. You can even get a lot of this sort of material kind of after it's used. Peter's sharing with us that he uses it for his Christmas show outside. It's awesome material. And you know what? Apart from making sure it doesn't flare up, you can use all of that sort of stuff very, very easily in your laser. Scott sharing us that there's a small spray can style extinguisher sitting on my housing. Perfect. Perfect, man. You know what? There's no right answer. It's just, if you prepare for it, you can head off a disaster in my case. If you lose your machine, if there's a fire in your home, that's a disaster. And like I said, there seems to be a lot of people right now in different communities who are just sharing their disaster photos. And I don't know, maybe it feels better when everyone's sharing them, but I'd be mortified, especially in where I live, you know. I want to protect my family. I don't want to put them in danger through my lasers. It's kind of weird. Anyway, that's okay. Guys, before we go, I do want to invite everyone here to share their tips and tricks. We do a tips and tricks live stream. If you have something that you have honed that you'd like to share with everyone, feel free to send them to me at laser.livestream@gmail.com. We're going to do a laser tips and tricks from the community episode very, very soon. I also want to share that I do virtual classes and one-on-one tuition with people, especially specializing in light burn. If you're interested in coming and doing some work with me, honing in some of your skills, or even working through a project that might be causing you a little bit of trouble, feel free to drop me a line again at laser.livestream@gmail.com. I believe my good friend Cheeks in the Philippines has done that himself, and a few other people have reached out also. So, you know, feel free to do that. And again, I do want to thank Darkly Labs, home of the Blazer range, and Lightburn Software, probably one of the most intuitive and easy to use laser software out there, for sponsoring the live stream. Guys, I've kept you way longer than I expected, but I gotta be honest with you, I had a ball doing it. I hope that some of the things that we're discussing with you here today, or some of the projects that we shared from the laser community, has inspired you to go out and try something new. Try a new technique. Set up your space so that you can get the best results out of your laser. And more than anything else, stay safe. Keep lasering. And I'm going to catch you in 2 weeks, which is with a whole bunch of special announcements about the laser live stream, hopefully. And the plan is a whole bunch of information from the guys at Darkly Labs. Guys, I want to thank you so much for your attention and your amazing, amazing patronage and just hanging out and discussing what I love on this kind of really interesting day for me. Guys, I will see you in 2 weeks for the next laser live stream. Till then, share your work with everyone on the Facebook group. Stay safe and go and make something. What the hell? Sorry, I couldn't find the button. Go and make something amazing. I'll see you guys real soon. Thank you so much.